You know what they say, cucks. Another day, another video up in this bitch, right? So with that, I just want to remind all of you motherfuckers that WrestleMania is on the horizon, and isn't that what I'm saying? So yeah, let's all get excited about that up in this bitch. So maybe I'll do another little WrestleMania preview. I don't know, like to talk about the matches. I don't know if there's a point. I mean, you know, what's the point, right? But anyways, yeah, let's talk about today's video. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe today, motherfuckers. So, yeah, we got that out of the way now. And, yeah, I mean, we got a few new subscribers, but none of them popped up in my notifications. So, you're out of luck. Yeah. If you want your shout out, leave a comment. And if you want a shout out and don't leave a comment, then still make sure to subscribe today. And maybe you'll pop up in my notifications. Pin this bitch. All right. Now, let's get to it, motherfuckers. The video that people have been requesting for quite some time now. The video is called 25 Reasons Why Brock Lesnar Rules, motherfuckers. I mean, this one is the easiest video to make. Let's be real. No, it's either this one or 25 Reasons Why Kenny Omega Sucks. I mean, that was easy as shit too, you know? But this one is easy because you can just look at Brock Lesnar and be like, this guy's awesome, you know what I mean? So let's just get to it, motherfuckers. Reason number one, Brock Lesnar's debut was one of the best debuts of all time, all right? It happened during a meaningless hardcore match. It was Maven, Al Snow, Spike Dudley. These are the three I remember because these are the three that Brock Lesnar attacked. All of a sudden, midway through the match, Paul Heyman appears, sends Lesnar in. Lesnar comes in, destroys Al Snow. He like spine busts someone with a trash can. Right? Grabs Maven and F5s him. Maven sold it really well. Spike Dudley jumps from the turnbuckle with a hockey stick, breaks it on Brock's head. Brock no-sells it, clotheslines him viciously, picks him up, does 3 power bombs on him. The end, motherfucks. That's it. Meanwhile, JR's like, that's Brock Lesnar, king. That's like the #1 free agent or whatever, right? And he's like, whoa, what's that bastard Paul Heyman doing with him? It was perfect. It was perfect, and it made Brock Lesnar feel legit, you know? Yeah, and he became legit, obviously. Speaking of legit, reason number 2. He is a legit badass, motherfuckers. The reason why Brock Lesnar is as good as he is in terms of how well he's booked is because he is legit. Even without UFC, you can just look at this guy and be like, this man is legit. This is not the kind of guy that you fuck around with. You don't play jokes on him. You don't do that kind of shit unless you're friends. Because otherwise, he might beat the shit out of you. And that makes him much more endearing to the fans. Because you're like, damn, that's a champion I can be proud of having, you know? That's a legit champion. That's a guy that would, like all these people are like, oh, Kofi deserves more time against Lesnar. Why? Why? In real life, what would happen is this. Brock would grab him by the throat and choke him to death. That's what would happen. And that's pretty much what happened in the ring. Oh, Kofi should, like, be dodging his moves and doing handstands. That shit doesn't work in real life, motherfuckers. In real life, strength and power and speed and fighting prowess beats gymnastics, motherfucker. Oh, Kofi knows capoeira. That's bullshit. No one cares. You know what I'm saying? Brock Lesnar would just break his leg, break his back, destroy him in real life. And that's what happened here. You know, that's what should have happened. Reason 3. He would destroy everyone in AEW in a fight, probably all at the same time. Oh, but what about Lance Archer? Lance Archer is like a really good wrestler. I think Lance Archer would beat Brock. No, he wouldn't, motherfuckers. Here's what would happen. Lance Archer would come in there. He would do that shtick of like, everybody dies. And then Brock Lesnar would just slap him in the face once, and that'd be the end of that gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Then his next gimmick would be that he's a cuckold. So that's why it's like when you have Brock Lesnar in wrestling, you can't. There's really no room for other tough guys. You know, like Lance Archer should get rid of that gimmick. They should put a dinosaur mask on him and have him join Jurassic Express with Luchasaurus. He can be like Bronto Boy or something like that. You know what I mean? What's the point? You know what I'm saying? There's already Brock Lesnar. No one's gonna ever come off as seeming like a tough guy until Lesnar retires. You know what I mean? None of them. That's why characters like Bray Wyatt ultimately fail, because you're like, oh, you're a fat guy with a mask who thinks he's a fiend. You know that if you were to wrestle Brock Lesnar, Brock would just laugh. Like, he would break kayfabe and he'd be like, oh, what the fuck, this is so stupid. Like, look at me, look at him. I would destroy this guy. And then he would beat him in 3 moves. That's why it's like, knowing that that's a possibility, that it might be Fiend versus Brock Lesnar one day, just knowing that that might happen is enough for me to be like, oh, the Fiend ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. That's a good reason in my opinion. Reason 4, Brock Lesnar can put on great matches when he wants to. Now, this when he wants to part is what pisses off a lot of people, right? They're like, oh, Brock doesn't give any like respect to Dean Ambrose. Of course not. He looks at Dean Ambrose and he's like, you look like shit. You need to hit the gym. You need to actually get a normal haircut, right? So then I can take you seriously, respect you, and give you some time. Until you do that, I'm gonna just F5 you and pin you, man. Why the fuck would I waste my time trying to put over you, you jobber? You know what I'm saying? He just looks at him and he's like, dude, I used to be wrestling like The Rock and Kurt Angle, and even like people like Booker T or JBL, all these people that he's like, I've been wrestling these motherfuckers, and now I'm wrestling Dean Ambrose. You know, these like real legit men, you know what I'm saying? Booker T, just a big motherfucker, strong as shit. JBL, we already know about him. You know what I'm saying? Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine. You know what I'm saying? Triple H, he used to wrestle these guys, and now they're like, hey, we need you to go wrestle Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. And he's like, all right, cool, no problem, as long as I'm getting paid. And then Dean Ambrose is like, I have an idea, Brock. The idea involves me just jumping off and elbowing you in the face. And Brock is like, no, kid. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to try to do that. I'm going to kick you in the stomach. I'm going to suplex you 30 times. I'm going to F5 you, and I'm going to bury you. Because that's your job here, you know? Until you take it seriously yourself, just like when Stone Cold buried Dean Ambrose, you know what I'm saying? When a lot of people forget about this, but Dean Ambrose went to the Stone Cold podcast, and he had this like nonchalant attitude, like, oh, like, I don't even know why I'm here, you know? I don't really care. Like he was playing up this whole, like, I'm unmotivated type of shit. And Stone Cold's like, dude, you need to stop being a bitch, basically. Like if you want to be a bitch, go be a bitch elsewhere. And that's what happened. He realized he couldn't hack it, guys. Let's be real. Dean Ambrose couldn't cut it in WWE. He's not mentally tough enough to become a wrestler in WWE, and he wasn't happy with his role. So he's like, I'm gonna go to AEW where I can be a star without even trying. And then Jericho was like, oh, he's reinvigorated. No, he's not reinvigorated. You just put him in the main event. You made him your champion. This guy that got squashed by Brock Lesnar, who's the champion of WWE now. You know what I mean? Think about that, motherfucker. Think about what the AEW title means. Their champion was someone that was just humiliated at WrestleMania. They had like on the whatever, the pre-show panel, right? They had like Booker T and Renee Young, who's his wife, and Booker T's like, Dean Ambrose has no chance. Booker T was getting ready to just bury him, you know, like Booker T and all the other people on the commentary were like, yo, this guy has no chance. Like the story of that match was this: can Dean Ambrose do one move on Lesnar? That was basically it. They're like, does Dean Ambrose have a chance to survive? You know, like nobody even contemplated the possibility he might win the match. It's Dean Ambrose. He's a jobber. You know what I'm saying? You should be wrestling Kofi Kingston. So, anyways, yeah. And in AEW, Brock would destroy all those motherfuckers, and he can put on great matches when he wants to, like he did with AJ Styles, and like he did with CM Punk, which is sucks, Mago. But what else? He also has obviously put on great matches with like Eddie Guerrero, Goldberg, motherfucks. Like, not all of them, of course, but like his recent Goldberg matches were all fantastic. Like him getting squashed by Goldberg was fucking awesome. It was memorable. Him beating Goldberg was also memorable because it was just like a match that people throw each other around. Him versus Undertaker, not this most recent one because Undertaker was like old as fuck and concussed, but the other Undertaker matches were fantastic. You know, with people that he respects, he puts on great matches. But you people expect him to like do this with everybody. That's not his job. That's Ricochet's job. Ricochet's the guy that goes out there and puts on good matches with everyone else. Brock Lesnar is the kind of guy that you need when you need to take someone like Ricochet and just eliminate him from the company. Which brings me to reason 5, motherfuckers. He buried Ricochet, cucks. He buried Ricochet. And for that reason alone, he should be in contention for the greatest wrestler of all time. He just grabbed Ricochet, beat the shit out of him. Ricochet, like, it was so great because Ricochet tried to do like a flying dropkick. Lesnar just swatted him out of the air, picked him up, suplexed him like twice, hit the F5, and we haven't seen Ricochet since. I mean, no, sorry. We saw him job out to Riddick Moss, but that's about it. Cucks! What do you think of them apples? Reason 6, he buried Daniel Bryan, motherfuckers, and this was especially satisfying because he beat the shit out of Daniel Bryan for like 80% of the match. Then Bryan had like a few moments, and then afterwards, Lesnar beat him. Now, here's the thing about Daniel Bryan. I remember they showed a clip from like, whatever, Meet the Bellas or whatever the fuck it's called, you know? They showed it on like some YouTube thing that I saw, and Lesnar was like, Bryan was like, this is how I would wrestle Lesnar. I would grab his leg, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is just cringy. It's like, dude, you wouldn't be able to do that. You can't. You're not physically on the same level. You know, this kind of leg lock bullshit only works on someone like Brock Lesnar if someone like Frank Mir is doing it. If a big 6-foot-something motherfucker who's strong as shit and properly trained can go do it. not WWE properly trained, you know? Oh, Daniel Bryan has taken classes in jiu-jitsu and trained under Randy Couture. Yeah, CM Punk trained under whoever the fuck he trained under, and it meant dick. You know, they introduced CM Punk like this guy has a background in Muay Thai. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have a background in dick. He has a background in going out there and getting squashed by jobbers in the UFC. Oh, he took 2 classes of Muay Thai. Now that's his gimmick. Get the fuck out of here. CM Punk is exactly that. He's a mark. He's someone that like watches TV and he's like, I could do this. I think I could. You know, for anyone who watches UFC, he's like Kevin Lee. You know, Kevin Lee thinks he's like the best in the world, right? But he's like, he just gets destroyed every time he fights someone worthy. You know what I mean? He just gets his ass whooped. It's the same thing with CM Punk. He's like, I understand this. You know, he was like, if UFC was big when I was young, I would have gone to the UFC. You wouldn't have had a good career, motherfucker. You would have not had a good career. The only thing that CM Punk can be good at in terms of sports is WWE, a fake sport, you know, because in every other thing, he'll be outperformed by superior athletes. Like, I know people that are significantly better athletes than fucking CM Punk. I mean, I know a lot of people, honestly, right? I even know some people, like, I know people from my boxing days that would beat the shit out of, like, everyone in AEW with one punch. Even Lance Archer, motherfuckers. So the level of athleticism in wrestling is very, very low, like, all things considered, right? But it's not low when you take into account someone like Brock Lesnar, like a real one, motherfuckers, a real athlete, a real sportsman, not like a bullshit like, oh, I like comic books and I lifted weights 3 times, so I'm gonna go pretend I'm an athlete, like Xavier Woods. Shut the fuck up, Xavier Woods. I know like a million people like Xavier Woods that beat the shit out of him. So anyways, there we go. Now we got reason number 7 up in this bitch. Brock Lesnar has legitimate charisma and presence. Now, a lot of people are wondering, charisma? He doesn't talk on the mic. That's right, motherfuckers. But he has that silent charisma. The same one that Batista has, except in my opinion, Brock Lesnar has even more of it than anybody else. And here's why. Because Brock Lesnar just looks like a serious motherfucker, and he has the presence of that guy, of a serious motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And he also understands the nuances of wrestling. Like when people were booing him and Heyman was like, how dare you boo us? And people booed even louder. Brock Lesnar just walks out of the ring, and Heyman follows him. And the story they were telling, and I believe this was an impromptu, off-the-cuff moment. Brock Lesnar was like he pretty much led the promo. He was like, I'm going to leave, and hopefully Paul Heyman understands and leaves with me. And of course, Heyman got it. And the idea was like, yo, I'm not going to tolerate this shit. You must have forgot who I am. I'm Brock Lesnar. I don't give a rat's ass about you people. You know? I'm the guy that comes here once every 2 months. You think I won't just leave? You know? You've literally paid to see me. Let's be real, right? So there you go, motherfuckers. He has that kind of presence where it's like he leaves, the whole crowd reacts, and everyone's like, whoa, he's leaving, oh my God. When he appears, everyone loses their minds, right? And it's not because he was this like incredible wrestler either. I mean, he's a great wrestler, but that's not why. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone came back, like for example, if Chad Gable, Shorty G, left for AEW for a year and then came back, no one would give a fuck. Brock Lesnar, his career, motherfuckers, his first stint was 2 years. You understand what I'm saying? 2 motherfuckers, man. You know what I'm saying? He had 2 WrestleMania matches. One was the main event. The other one was against Goldberg. He had only 2 matches at WrestleMania. Then he left. And when he came back, everyone lost their mind because he is awesome. And that's why everyone who knows anything loves Brock Lesnar, motherfuckers. Reason number 8, he married Sable, motherfuckers. He married Sable when she was in her prime. And for that reason, he gets a big thumbs up from your boy. Reason number 9, he ended the streak, and it was deserved, motherfuckers. Now, should the streak have ended? That's a different question. I personally believe that the streak should have continued until Undertaker's last match, where he drops the streak to someone that they're trying to push. Perhaps Roman Reigns. Perhaps, if he could wait another 5-6 years, Velveteen Dream with a serious gimmick. But that wasn't going to happen because like he doesn't have 5-6 years. But although motherfuckers, this reincarnation is the American badass, basically, let's be real. Like, this one has a few years left in him, I can tell, you know? So, yeah, he ended the streak, and Undertaker understood that Lesnar had to end the streak. Vince McMahon decided, of course, and it was very simple. Brock Lesnar is a WWE product. He's not someone, people are like, why doesn't Owens end the streak? Oh, let me see. Because he's a fat jobber that will never be a star. That's why, motherfuckers. Because in a few years, he'll be wrestling on the pre-show. You know what I mean? That's why. But Lesnar, on the other hand, he is a WWE guy through and through. He represents WWE, and he has ever since he signed for WWE. When he left for the NFL, it wasn't like, oh, NCAA champion Brock Lesnar is trying out for football. No, it was former WWE champion Brock Lesnar is trying out. When he joined the UFC, it was WWE superstar and former champion Brock Lesnar has joined the UFC. That's what it was. You understand what I'm saying? He represents WWE. Because of people like Lesnar, he goes to UFC, right? And he beats the shit out of everybody in UFC until he gets diverticulitis, right? And he becomes UFC champion. That legitimizes WWE. That makes it seem as if people in WWE are legit tough guys. If Brock Lesnar is beating the shit out of everybody in UFC, and they're like, oh, Eddie Guerrero beat him. Eddie Guerrero would do well in UFC. That's what the brain connects, right? When CM Punk does the same thing, people are like, whoa, this guy had a competitive match with Lesnar. He's like a welterweight here. Or like, I think he was a welterweight. I don't think he was a lightweight. But let's say he was a welterweight. He was a welterweight, and he's getting his ass beat. And you're like, oh, man, this guy's like, I'm supposed to believe this guy has a chance against The Rock? Get the fuck out of here, you know what I mean? So there you have it, Cooks. The end of the streak, it was deserved. Reason 10, he put over Goldberg as he should have. Goldberg beating Brock Lesnar in 12 seconds was fantastic. I'm talking about the more recent one. It was fantastic, motherfuckers. Because a lot of people were like, oh, can Goldberg hang, right? How did they answer that? They just answered it by Goldberg beating the shit out of Lesnar. Spear, jackhammer. This was after Goldberg eliminated him from the Rumble, too. You know what I mean? So it was double legit because it was like, oh, fuck, man. Like, this guy, like, not only did he get his number at the Rumble, but this continued on to WrestleMania, or where the fuck, whenever he fought him, right? That was great. Motherfuckers! Deal with it, bitches. So, yeah. This is my favorite reason, probably. Reason 11. At one point, Brock Lesnar got into a backstage argument with Jericho, right? And let's get to it in a second, but let me lay out the foundation here. So after his match with Orton, where he made Orton bleed, apparently Lesnar went backstage, and Jericho got up on his face. And the story goes like this. He got into a backstage argument with Jericho, and he called Jericho a bad word that no one could repeat again. Now, that word was either pussy or some variation of gay. Probably a faggot. He probably called Jericho a faggot. Wow, I haven't said that word in so long. Don't say it's a bad word, motherfuckers. But I think he called him that, right? And it's like, the reason why that's awesome, you're probably thinking, why is that awesome? The reason why that's awesome is because he's not going to take some shit from some little jabroni named Jericho who thinks he's better than he is. He's fucking Brock Lesnar, motherfuckers. So he called him something, right? Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it wasn't pussy. Maybe it was like piece of shit. But I feel like if it was, like, it had to be something pretty lewd, you know what I mean? Pretty lewd and pretty unsayable. Otherwise, we would know what it was. Maybe some of you do know what it was, right? But he pretty much put Jericho in his place. Now, I like Jericho, but I don't like this like Jericho like going out there like standing up for people like he's some sort of locker room leader. Shut the fuck up, Jericho. Be quiet. Oh, Jericho choked out Goldberg. No, he didn't, motherfuckers. He got like a headlock on him. In real life, Goldberg would pick him up and throw him against the wall 17 times in a row. That's what would happen, you know? It was unbelievable then. It's unbelievable now. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. What else? Reason 12. He made the Royal Rumble this year. Awesome, motherfuckers. This was one of my favorite Rumbles in a long time and one of my favorites like overall, right? And it was made awesome by Brock Lesnar eliminating about 15 jobbers left and right in the beginning. Reason 13, the F5 is one of the best moves ever. The F5 is perfect in every way. Number one, it's a power move, which means it needs to lift someone. Two, it has flair in the sense that he spins the person and drops him. It looks like it hurts, and it has a fantastic name, the F5, motherfuckers. What a great name. F5! You know what I'm saying? F5, Taz! It was great. Reason 14, he looks like a monster, right? He's not only a legit badass, but he looks like one too, motherfuckers, because Cain Velasquez is a legit badass, but he looks like a doughy little shit, you know? And I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, Cain Velasquez beat Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar was undiagnosed with diverticulitis. Right now, Brock Lesnar would break Cain Velasquez's head in 7 pieces, all right? Because Cain Velasquez was honestly not that good. His only career highlight is he beat Brock Lesnar. That's it, man. Everything else was bullshit. He like lost to Junior Dos Santos, and then he beat Junior Dos Santos, and Junior Dos Santos has done this with everybody. Junior Dos Santos has beaten and been beaten by everybody except for Lesnar, who hasn't beaten him. But you know what I'm saying? That's just like because Lesnar had diverticulitis, been his bitch. There you go. Reason 14, he looks like a monster. Reason 15, he made Paul Heyman's career. I'm tired of this. I'm a Heyman guy. Heyman is only relevant because Brock Lesnar became a success, right? As a manager, I'm saying. Heyman, like, Who else has Heyman managed that has been successful? No one, motherfuckers. Not one person. Like everyone that, even Brock Lesnar, you know, I think that was going to happen regardless. You know, Brock Lesnar has been keeping Heyman employed for years now because of how awesome Lesnar is. You know what I mean? That's what I have to say about that up in this bitch. Cax. You understand me? Now, let's see here. What's it called? Reason 16, motherfuckers. Reason 16. He had excellent matches with Kurt Angle and Benoit. Now, Kurt Angle, one of the best wrestlers of all time. He has had some incredible matches with Kurt Angle. And the reason why they're incredible is because Kurt Angle is also believable, right? And the reason why he shouldn't be having matches like that with people like Ricochet is because Ricochet and Kofi Kingston and that level of wrestler is just not believable against Brock Lesnar. Even Daniel Bryan, none of these guys are believable. Daniel Bryan, Ricochet, and fucking, who else did I just say? Motherfucks? Ricochet, Daniel Bryan, and Kofi Kingston. There it is. These guys are not believable as wrestlers, so Brock Lesnar should be plowing through them like 3 at a time, honestly. You know what I'm saying? But he had some great matches with Kurt Angle. Some of the best matches ever, as a matter of fact. Reason 17. He is a UFC champion and soon to be UFC Hall of Famer Cuts. Right? Here's the thing. Brock Lesnar, arguably the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time, except for, of course, the current heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic, who is like the best heavyweight of all time, undisputed. But after him, it's got to be Brock Lesnar, you know? And I would love to see Lesnar versus Miocic. That would be a great fight because they're both like tough motherfucks. They both like do striking and wrestling, so it'll be, and they're both big, yeah? That'd be great. I'd love to see Lesnar win the UFC belt one more time and then retire. That'd be great. Reason 18, he beat the previously unbeatable Shane Carwin in UFC. I actually thought Shane Carwin was going to knock out Brock Lesnar. Then I realized that Brock Lesnar wasn't fucking around, that he was the real deal. When he beat Shane Carwin, I was like, that's it. It's done. Shane Carwin is awesome, but Brock Lesnar is better, which means Lesnar would destroy everyone. You know, bring back Lesnar to the UFC. Please, just do it for, like, just the way they did it with Mark Hunt. I'm not saying have him, like, not be WWE. Bring him to UFC and put him up against, like Ngannou or something like that. Someone that he can destroy, you know? Like, Ngannou is a strong guy, but Lesnar will just out-wrestle him and just beat the shit out of him, you know? So, put him up against someone like that. Don't put him up against, like, a Cormier or anything like that. Like, Cormier would probably beat his ass, let's be real. Cormier is a great wrestler. Actually, what am I saying? Of course not. Dude, Brock Lesnar would destroy Cormier and everybody at the same damn time. Or have John Jones move up to heavyweight, despite his, like, recent DUI, and have him fight Brock Lesnar. That's a dream match. Anyways, cucks. Let's move on, motherfuckers. Where are we? Sorry, I'm a little distracted today because it's like, I'm trying to get a lot done, you know what I'm saying, motherfuckers? All right, reason 19. He put over the UFC big time. In my opinion, there are 2 moments in UFC history, I guess 3 moments in UFC history, that have really catapulted the UFC. Obviously, the first one is the creation of the UFC, you know what I'm saying? Moment 2 is the Ultimate Fighter finale 1, Stephen Bonner versus Forrest Griffin. UFC hit the jackpot with that fight because that was a brutal, awesome fight, and that's what got people interested in the UFC. They're like, oh, shit, this thing is brutal and awesome. You know, if Stephen Bonner versus Forrest Griffin was like a boring wrestling match, right, no one would care. UFC would not be as big as it is today. Not even close. And the other moment that UFC went closer to the mainstream is when they signed, had, and made Brock Lesnar the UFC champion. That's it. Those are the 3 things. No one has done more for the UFC than Brock Lesnar, except for maybe Dana White, Stephen Bonner, and Forrest Griffin. So there you go. He put over the UFC. He put over an entire company. Reason number 20, Suplex City, bitch. Reason number 21, he is a private, like, closed doors, big walls, gun-toting country boy, and that's cool, motherfuckers. That's cool. He's not out there trying to be this like celebrity. He's not trying to be famous. He just is famous, and he wants to stay away from that shit because he's a serious and a real man. He's not like these pansies like Tyron Woodley or fucking Kim Kardashian or everyone else in the UFC who's like, oh, look at me now. I want publicity. No, he's the opposite. He's like, leave me the fuck alone or I'll break your neck. That's why he's awesome, and that's why he resonates with people like me and other cool motherfuckers. You understand what I'm saying? All right. Reason 22, motherfuckers. He put over John Cena in that awesome match at Extreme Rules, which was his first match back. And people thought Lesnar was going to destroy Cena. That happened later. But that match was one of my favorite matches of all time because it was so good. Number one, you had the return of Brock Lesnar. You had like Cena being like on the ropes, like teetering on the ropes, ready to get his ass whooped. I think it was the WrestleMania after he lost to The Rock, like the first one. Yeah, it must have been, right? And then the storyline was this. You just lost to The Rock, motherfucker. The Rock, who's like a part-timer, he beat you, Cena, the number one guy in the company. He beat your ass. And the question then became, is John Cena almost done? Well, you don't have to wait long to find out because here's Brock Lesnar, motherfuckers. Here's the most legit wrestler of all time. And Cena had an awesome match with him. And Brock Lesnar did some crazy shit. Like, he did like a suicide dive by jumping off the steps, kind of. The steps were in the ring. And then he did it, tried to do it again. And Cena just punched him in the head with a chain-wrapped fist. Cena was bleeding, right? And he had this look of like determination or grit, as we might say nowadays. And he just like waited for Lesnar to get up, picked him up, and give him the FU on the steel steps and pinned him. I think that was the first time Cena ever beat Lesnar, you know? So that was amazing, right? There was a story told there, but because it's actual storytelling, and it's not like, oh, Orange Cassidy doesn't care, you know what I'm saying? It's actual nuanced storytelling. The story was, not yet, motherfucks. Cena ain't done yet. You know what I mean? That was the story. And that was, a lot of people don't realize, but that was a good setup for Cena versus Rock 2, right? Because Cena's like, I'm not done yet. It's been a hard year. I've got my ass beat, but I'm also not done yet, motherfucks. When it's time, I come through. I'm John Cena. He wins the Rumble, wins the title from The Rock. Cena's awesome. But he wouldn't be as awesome if Lesnar hadn't put him over in that awesome match. Reason 23, his feud with Rey Mysterio and Dominic was one of the best ones in recent memory. All right? That feud was amazing. First of all, it was like a gimmicky match, right? Because obviously, for the reasons that I said before, someone like Rey has no business fighting someone like Brock. However, it was still good because Brock Lesnar played up to it, right? Rey Mysterio had his moments. Brock Lesnar beat the shit out of him. Dominic was involved. He suplexed Dominic, you know, which kudos to Dominic for doing that, right? It was just an awesome match and an awesome feud, right? It's like the feud started with what's his face? Cain Velasquez, like saving Rey Mysterio, right? Being the one that is going to back up Rey Mysterio. Then Brock Lesnar gets rid of him really fast, and now it's up to Rey Mysterio himself. But don't forget, motherfuckers, Rey Mysterio is still Rey Mysterio. That's why it was great. It was awesome. Reason 24, he has continuously put over little wrestlers only for them to become jobbers again. So this idea that Brock Lesnar hogs the spotlight is horseshit. Brock Lesnar is the guy that, honestly, the first guy that put over Chris Benoit. Because if you remember, before Benoit became champion, at that Survivor Series, in the end of the match, it was Big Show and Lesnar on Team Lesnar, and Cena and Benoit on Team Angle, I think it was. Yeah. And what happened was, Cena hits the attitude of the FU on Big Show and pins him, right, which was a prelude to what happened at WrestleMania. And, or was that afterwards? No, that could have been afterwards. That was when Cena turned face. And the match ends with Benoit fucking putting the crippler crossface on Brock Lesnar and making him tap. You understand what I'm saying? So he put over Benoit. He put over Eddie Guerrero, motherfuckers. It doesn't matter how it happened. Eddie Guerrero took the title off him, right? He eventually put over Cena. He's put over Rey Mysterio in these matches where Mysterio gets any offense, right? He's put over Triple H. He's put over fucking everybody. He's put over Seth Rollins, right? He's put over Finn Balor. Now, he beat Finn Balor, but there's this narrative now that like, oh, Brock Lesnar has problems with smaller, quicker wrestlers. Yeah, that narrative is there because he's putting them over. He's letting them have their moves. You know what I mean? So he's put over so many guys, and it's not his fault that at the end of the day, Finn Balor turned out to be a jobber, and Seth Rollins is back in the mid-card. It's not his fault, motherfucks. Reason 25. He legit attacked Braun Strowman after Strowman decided to get tough with him in a match. Now, typically, I'm okay with forgiving people's mistakes. But Braun Strowman, I think he may have done it like quasi on purpose. Not on purpose, but he may have been like, oh yeah, Braun, I'm tough too. And then he realized that you don't fuck with Brock Lesnar. Now, who would win in a fight? I don't know. I actually would think that Braun Strowman would have a pretty good chance because he is that big, motherfuckers. He is that level of big. So, there you have it. These have been 25 reasons why Brock Lesnar rules. And, yeah, I don't even think it's disputable at this point that Brock Lesnar is awesome. I think now we have to start really considering the possibility that Brock Lesnar is the greatest wrestler of all time. I'm not even exaggerating, motherfuckers. We really have to consider that. Like I said earlier in another video, if Lesnar continues doing what he's doing now for like 5, 6 years, maybe 4 years, like holding the title, having good matches, being a monster, then he will undoubtedly go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest wrestler of all time, motherfuckers. So there you have it. Yeah, get ready for WrestleMania, motherfuckers. It's going to be a good one, I hope. Stay safe, stay dirty, and wash your ass, cooks.